Football has changed. Titles aren't just won on the pitch. They're built in scouting rooms, guided by data. Juventus is shifting, using analytics to uncover talent the world overlooks and value others ignore. And right now, 3 names stand out: smart, strategic, and ready to deliver. First, Johan Bakayoko, 22 years old and already one of Europe's most exciting wingers. 41 goal contributions in 63 starts for PSV. But the numbers go deeper. He's in the elite tier globally for progressive carries and dribbling. He doesn't just run at defenders. He victimizes and destroys them. He's a left-footed right winger, full of pace, skill, and end product. Pair him with Kenan Yildiz, and Juventus get dual inverted weapons that can flip inside or burst out wide, unlocking defenses all over the Serie A. No new contract at PSV. A fee reported of 20 million. This isn't hype. It's high-impact talent, prized like a secret. Next, Rodrigo De Paul. 31 years old, but he plays like a man still climbing. A World Cup winner, a La Liga champion, and a player who mixes elegance with bite. He ranks 3rd in La Liga for ball progression among regular starters, only behind Pedri and Frenkie de Jong. He presses like a pitbull, passes like a quarterback, and sets the rhythm for any midfield he's in. And here's the full circle. Before Atletico, he was one of Serie A's most complete midfielders at Udinese. He impressed in black and white before. Now, he could do it again. Same colours, bigger ambition. Juventus. De Paul isn't just experience, he's leadership, the kind of presence that makes a dressing room stand taller. And finally, a strange and unfamiliar name for some, Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. A centre-back built in the tradition of total football. Strong, aggressive, but with the footwork of a midfielder. He doesn't just defend, he connects, turns pressing traps into progress. Juventus had often relied on a midfielder like Locatelli to drop deep and start play. But with Senesi, that changes. He takes control of the first phase. He builds, he balances, he brings clarity. At 28, with 1 year left on his deal, Senesi offers experience, calm, and quality, without the price tag of a superstar. Bakayoko, De Paul, Senesi. 3 different profiles, one shared truth. They fit the system. They match the moment. They raise the ceiling. Juventus, rebuilt through data, driven by ambition. Okay, this is going to be a very, very, very fun video to make. This applies to me and it applies to every single one of you guys watching the video. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. What applies to you is we have all been hired on a one-day basis to rebuild Juventus, okay? We have been hired on a one-day basis. It's a trial shift to replace Cristiano Gentili. We are the sporting directors. We've got 24 hours to make 3 signings, 3 realistic signings. Don't tell me Lamine Yamal. 3 realistic signings, but you have to apply the strategies of Moneyball, which means you have to look at the data, you have to apply the context, and you have to see if this player fits in Juventus' project, okay? So I'm going to give my 3 players, okay? So I'm the sporting director for 1 day and 1 day only, and I can guarantee you I will get Juventus very, very, very close to winning the Scudetto, okay? Number 1, I need myself a new attacker. Now, you can pick and choose whichever position you want, okay? I'm going for an attacker, a centre-back, and another midfielder. Okay, number 1, for the attacker, I'm going Johan Bakayoko. Okay, statistically, and I wanted to pick players where I've watched them with my own 2 eyes. So I've sat down and watched PSV. I'm very familiar with Bakayoko's game. He is statistically one of the best wingers in the world when it comes to chance creation, when it comes to beating his man, and when it comes to ball progression. Now, those are 3 things that you want in a winger. You want a winger that can create opportunities. Statistically, he's one of the highest in Europe. You also want a winger that can carry the ball up the field. Statistically, one of the best in the world, okay? And you also want a winger that can beat his man on a consistent basis. Statistically, one of the best in the world. And on top of that, he scores goals. This guy's already scored double digits for PSV. I believe this season in the Dutch league, he scored 9 and he began to fade away in the second half of the season. But in all competitions, he scored over 10 once again. The thing I love about him the most is as a winger, I love a winger or an attacking player that can beat his man in a variety of different ways. How many times have you come across wingers and they can only beat the fullback when there's space in behind and they can kick it down the line and chase after it? No. Give him space in behind. He's got the physicality and the running power to beat you for sheer pace. Put him against a low block where he hasn't really got much space and much time to maneuver. He'll beat you for sheer skill. Those are the best of players, where they can use their technical ability, they can use their physical ability. Guys, This time last summer, clubs in the Premier League wanted him and PSV were quoting them 40 million. 1 year later, he's only got one more year left on his contract. They're asking for 20, maximum. And this is them hoping a bidding war happens. They're asking for 25 million euros, okay? And the icing on the cake for me is there's two clubs in the Premier League that want him. And they're both two clubs in the Premier League that, in my opinion, have some of the best scouting departments. Yeah, they always get the big player before he becomes the big player and sell them on for ridiculous profits. One is Bournemouth and the other one is everybody's favourite, Brighton. I can list you guys 100 players that Brighton have signed for less than 5 million and gone on to sell for 1 trillion. Okay, like you look at Caicedo, they're about to sell Joao Pedro. Where on God's earth did they find somebody like Mitoma? Okay, Brighton, who have just gone and signed Diego Coppola for 10 million. Brighton are looking at him. They've studied him. They know what he can bring to the table. Juventus, 20 million? 25 million? He brings such a different dimension to this attack. Him and Kenan, they can chop and change. They can interchange. Like, as a fullback, they can both go down the outside and they can both cut in. I'll be honest with you guys, I think it's a bargain. And even when he played Juventus, I feel like a lot of people forget, he played Juventus this season in the Champions League. He played really well. 20 million? I think it's a bargain. I actually think it's a bargain. Now let's go on to the next player. Rodrigo De Paul. Now what I want in midfield, I want a bit more steel. I want a bit more experience. I want a player of an elite winner's mentality, okay? And those players tend to cost a lot of money. But I'm looking at somebody like De Paul. He's got one more year left on his deal. He's been there. He's done it before. He's shared the locker room with some of the world's best of stars. Okay, like he's won a World Cup and shared a changing room with somebody like Lionel Messi. Okay, you bring him to Juventus. One, he's already shown he understands the Serie A. Yes, he was a little bit younger. He was a bit more dynamic. At Udinese, this guy was amazing. You bring him now to Juventus. Even now, we have to apply the strategies of Moneyball. Don't forget. In terms of ground covered, he's one of the highest in La Liga this year. In terms of ball progression, one of the highest in La Liga. This is a guy that this time last year, Atleti were looking to sell him on to Saudi, but they couldn't agree a deal. He stayed on. He's forced his way back into the team. He had a little falling out with Diego Simeone. They wanted to get rid of him. He's forced his way back into a team. And I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like now they'll be more open to letting him go. But Simeone's already come out and said, based on his performances this season, we're more than happy to keep him and we're more than happy to negotiate a new deal. But I reckon if Juventus come knocking and offer some cash, you bring in a player of an elite winner's mentality. You bring in a leader. You bring in a player that's been there, done it before, won some of the most global prizes ever in the game of football. He understands this area. And the one thing about De Paul is he's a pit bull. He doesn't stop running from minute 1 to minute 90. He gives you 110%. He's aggressive. He's tenacious. I'm a big fan of South American players. I just think these guys always play with an extra 40, 50%. They don't want to lose. They're not losers. They go out there. They get stuck in. They win the game of football. He can chip in with goals. He can create opportunities. He can progress play. I look at him and say, somebody like him in the changing room. Like last season, Atleti wanted 30 million from Saudi. Imagine a year later, with only 12 months left on his deal. I look at it and tell myself, Juventus can probably grab him for about 15, 20 million max. For me, it's a bargain. Don't get me wrong. If they want more than 30 million, they can keep him. Okay? I'm basing it off the fact 15, 20 million. I think it's a bargain for the age of 31. Okay? And lastly, this one, I'll be honest with you guys. I intentionally went for like the unique name. There were so many other centre halves that I could have picked in it. I wanted to go for like the unique name. Okay, and I went for a centre half which I like a lot. And it's Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. Now, funnily enough, it's going to sound crazy. The reason why he hasn't played that much this season is because Huijsen has come in and taken his spot. Huijsen has brought a different dimension to this Bournemouth backline. But you see Senesi, the way he performed last season, he had some of the biggest clubs in the Premier League looking at him. You want a centre-half which genuinely feels like you've got a midfielder in the back line? That is Senesi. Comfortable with both feet. He can spray passes. And for me, this is the wildest one. Imagine as a centre-half, you finish on 9 goal contributions in 30 starts. Yes, 9 goal contributions in 30 starts. Now, I don't want anybody to say, oh, he's trying to justify it because of his goal contributions. No, when you look at a centre-half, you shouldn't really expect much goal contributions from them. For me, this is just the icing on the cake. overall, as a whole, he wins his duels in the air. He wins his duels on the ground. He's amazing technically. When I watched him last year at Bournemouth, and even this season, I believe he's played like just over 10 games. He's always been a smooth operator in possession. And I look at Juventus and I tell myself, so many times this season, under both Tudor and Motta, Locatelli would always drop deep. Now, you have to bear in mind, I've explained it before. When Locatelli drops deep, you now lose a midfielder. So you basically leave Kefram Turam in midfield alone because Locatelli is telling him, I can't play in the second phase of the pitch because I need to drop deep and pick up the ball from Kalulu and Gatti. I basically need to drop into defence to get the ball to you in the second phase. You get a ball playing centre half like Senesi, you can now keep Locatelli in the second phase. You can keep Thuram in the second phase. It's an extra body. It's an extra layer of protection. It's an extra layer of ball progression in midfield. I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of bias, okay? I like Senesi a lot, and I think 28 years old. 1 year left on his deal, and it doesn't look like they're about to agree an extension or anything. I feel like Juventus can actually get this guy for a bargain. Like a serious bargain. Okay? But like I said, this is just me thinking out loud. This is just me implementing the strategies of Moneyball. Those are the 3 names that I would sign. I think collectively, they might cost Juventus collectively 50 million. I'll be honest with you guys. I think De Paul 15. I think Senesi 15, and I think Bakayoko 20. 15, 15, 20, 30. Quick 30? Bro, 50. Quick maths, okay? I reckon 50 million gets the job over the line, and the overall ceiling of Juventus, it goes up 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. Now, I would love to hear you guys' breakdowns in the comments. And I will catch you guys on another one.